All right, so this is our project. This is 3 different sizes of the same project piece. Here's a wonderful earring that Jamie gave me, and I took it apart and I put this drop on it, and you can tell it's elegant, it's nice. It flows and it balances really well. I used in here, this particular project, 22 gauge square wire. And the reason why I use square wire is it gives a different look to it. And get this, 22 gauge square wire, weight wise, is the same as 21 gauge half hard. Ding. Nancy's looking at me going, really? Yeah, because round wire doesn't have walls. So it's a square piece that looks just like this versus a round piece without any edges. So if you add up the weight, it's basically the same. So right away, I'm going to talk about tools. First tool that we're going to use, and you should always have on your desk, polishing cloth. You need your polishing cloth, especially if you're working with precious metals. You want to clean your wire prior to working with all of this. Again, I'm working with 22 gauge square, but I want you guys to work in 21 gauge, 20 gauge round, whatever you're comfortable with. This item right here took 2 inches each. This item here, 2¼ inches, and the larger one took 2½ inches. Very small increments, but look at the difference. It's a wide range of sizes, but only within a quarter inch of each. Again, earring design is small yet specific, so it's one of the hardest things to do is earring design, especially making findings. So thank you for joining. So 21 gauge round, 22 gauge square, about the same. Next thing you want to have in your toolbox is your wrap and taps, because that's basically what's going to create the shape. The first one was done with the 6-step wrap and tap. The third one was done with the large wrap and tap. And the middle one was made with the bezel mandrel, old school. Debbie, you have this. She's nodding her head, yep. So, and what's interesting, guys, is the difference in millimeter size is very small. That is basically 9 to 10 millimeters. This is between 11 and 12 millimeters. And that is about 13 to 15 millimeters. I can't remember exactly, but small gauges, but in relative size by eye, it looks different. If you look at it, that one there is 0.5 millimeter size bigger than this. So it's not going to make too much of a difference in size. So this and this are relatively the same. So it will make that ear wire. So whatever you're comfortable with, this or this will make the first ear wire. All right, I'll show you the hand movements because that's the most important of everything besides measurements. So hand movements is very important. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab your 6-step wrap and tap. The 6-step wrap and tap has made earring design way easy. So we're going to build that. Let me put that over there so you know what we're making. And it'll look like this. So take your flush cutters, trim the end. That save your scraps. On your 6-step wrap and tap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on the number 1, we're going to build the loop, that first loop that you see. I'm going to work with the curve of the wire because my hand fits right in it. Again, remember, I'm showing you hand movements that I use every single time. I'm going to grab just enough of the wire to turn a loop. I'm going to make half a loop, and then I'm going to make smaller loops till I touch. So there you go. There's your first loop, a nice round. Next movement that you're going to do is this. We're going to create this portion right here, that bottom loop there, and that's using the number 1 again, but you're going to grab the wire here with the number 2 face next to the number 1 loop that you just made. You're going to grab this right here. Watch this. This is perpendicular to the plier. We're going to turn this over like this. And we are not going to turn our wrist. Whatever you do, don't turn your wrist because that's going to curve the wire. What you want to do is you want to keep it perpendicular so the wire stays straight. This wire stays straight, and you want to make sure that it touches that loop right there. If it doesn't touch right away, take the wire and rub it across the top and the bottom like this. Rubbing meaning holding it so that it touches there. And that is that little serpent's head. No turning of the wrist, just wire movement. Next thing we're going to make is going to be the actual ear wire shape. Since we are making the smaller one, we're going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to use number 6 right here. To make number 6, place your serpent's head inside the piece like that. Again, perpendicular to the piece. You're going to move your wire around, over, and down. It doesn't look like it, but it will in a second, until it touches, until it's there. And it's going to give you a spring back because we're using half hard wire. If you want this to be exactly that same shape there, you're going to have to use dead soft wire, and it'll look exactly that size. Now, take this portion, and we're going to wrap this around plier. And look, it's looking like this now. Keep wrapping this until it crosses over that loop right there. What this is going to do is give you curvature. And curvature is what keeps the ear wire in your ear. Pretty simple, but often forgotten because of design rather than gravity. Because if you turn this, watch, if you turn it, that's what's going to be holding it in place there. Because if you put your piece in here, this has got to be longer so it doesn't fall out. Now, here we go. Done. Pull it out. And look, there's your nice little circle. You which way you want. You can cut it. I like to cut it right between a half inch and a half inch before the ending. Okay. If you wanted to make it longer, you can make it go past this, then pull it back and create a long ear wire. Sort of that shepherd's hook. But I'm doing the C-hoop style, and there it is. This. Not too shabby. I'm going to replicate this one now in real time. So just watch my hand movements. I'm not going to talk too much. Flush cut. I already polished the thread, the wire, with my polishing cloth. Recycled my metal. Here we go. Just watch. Just take it in. No notes. Just watch. Here we go. And here, this is how you make a replicable copy that is the same but different per the ear wire. You're going to match it up against this piece. It's fine. If you want it to look sort of the same, do what I'm doing right now. Cut. Ear wires. I will get a nylon hammer, and we carry 2 different types of hammers. It doesn't matter. Use a nylon hammer to flatten down your piece with the loud banging. That's loud on the microphone. It lays flat. It's ready to go. You're almost done. So that you don't rip the inside of your ear hole, there's many ways to finish off the piece. You can use a jeweler's file. You can use an emery board, a well-used one. And you can use, if you're doing many of them, you can use the cup burr on your motorized tool. We have many motorized tools. We use one. Put that right in there. I'm using on the website, this one's a 20 gauge to 22 gauge cup. It works really well. There we go. Look, guys, rounded edges, ready to wear. If it feels a little rough, use your nail and clean it off, or use your emery board, which is very light and it's easy. And the nice thing about an emery board, back and forth. All right, I'm gonna build the 3rd piece now using the large wrap and tap. So I'm gonna make this now versus that one. Everything's the same except for the ear wire shape. Here's a zoom in. I'm going to use the same square wire. Number 1, again. Okay. You can use 21 gauge, Jamie's favorite ear wire to use, but I decided to use something different so you guys can see. Am I losing anybody? No? There's my little serpent's head, or it could be the Swarovski swan, right? The Swarovski swan, right? And then I'm going to use the number 1 on the large wrap and tap, and that is, it's 15 millimeters. Wait, no, 13. I'm going to place it inside, up, over and around, and down till it touches the wire. So my basic wire video. See how I did that? And it sprung back. Take the swan's head, neck, push it up against the piece to get a nice round shape. Bend that in some more, and there you go. About 1/4 inch from the end. I cut it. I'm going to trim this. And replicate it again. What's going on? There we go. Touch. Flip. Over. Around. Somebody outside. It's weird. Push the swan's head. And don't worry if this is bent. You can always bend it in a second. There we go. About 1/4 inch. And cut. And there you go. Replicated enough. It looks pretty close. When you hammer this, I'll show you what happens to it. It'll open up a little bit. You can do one of two things right now. You can clean it, and this might be good for anybody who does a lot of application work. When you clean it first, when you deburr the ends, when you hammer, it takes the shavings off. People who are into details, I think that makes a big difference in your work. Take your hammer. This is why this hammer is good for this kind of work, because on their larger pieces, see how it bows up a little bit? I would flip it down like that, and same thing here. Woohoo! Let me do the last one real quick. And look, this is with 1 foot of wire. I did 2 pairs with 1 foot of wire. Here we go, one more time. And just watch my hand movement. It's just repetition. So this is the movement. You can use the base of this, and I found this out yesterday. The base of this is the same as this. So guess what? I'm going to use a larger piece. I'm going to use my thumb like this. I'm going to roll it like so, perpendicular. Again, push the swan's neck down. I am going to use swan's neck. And then I'm going to cut. Do the same thing again. Flush cut. Number 1. Flip. Number 1. Thumb instead of plier. Wrap. And then wrap. Quarter inch. Cut. Deburr. Deburr. Hammer. And there we go.